Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we have a vintage Park Industries flip-top petrol lighter with a golfer motif. You can see he is swinging a club at a golf ball. I believe it appears as though it is on a tee, and you can see the pin in the distance behind him. I'm assuming that is another pin, not the pin he is aiming at. The case of the lighter is marked Park Lighter, made in USA. There are some variations in how Park lighters are marked depending on where they were made and maybe even the material they were made of. I re-wicked and repacked and of course refueled this lighter upon receiving it in the mail earlier today. You can see that it was a little bit slow to light, and we're going to see that exhibited throughout this video. This video is not for an eBay listing, as this lighter will be going into my personal collection, at least for the time being, and probably for quite some time. I do not recall seeing a Park lighter with this sort of sports series motif or a golfer. I don't remember seeing any sports type Park Industry lighters at all. Of course, there have been several and even a few different series done by Zippo, and also some very attractive sports series lighters done by Champ Austria. Pull the insert out here and you can see it is aluminum construction, very lightweight. It is marked precision made by Park Industries, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, USA, which would place it around 1960 or so. The felt pad on the bottom is very dirty, and I did not have a spare one, or at least I didn't go looking. I've got several of them in there, but they're all in dirty old lighters, so I can't imagine that they were any cleaner. So I just wiped it off as best I could, put a new wick, new cotton, and fueled it up. The insert is in pretty good condition. It was covered with some soot and other buildup in the chimney area, but got most of that cleaned out of there with a common household disinfectant wipe. You can see where the lid of this lighter sits a little canted, a little crooked. I'm not sure if that is a function of the insert, but you can also see that the lid or the hinge has a little bit of wobble in it. I don't think that that is in the rivet. I think that the play is actually in the pin that runs through the barrels of the hinge, as the rivet that holds your pivot point in place there appears to be solid. This case, I am not sure. I think it is made of brass. The top looks silverish, but a lot of those are painted on the underneath side of the lid and then left just unfinished on the inside, where you can see the tarnish on the inside of that case, which obviously how nasty the bottom of that felt pad looked. They had been feeding on each other down there, it appears. There are many scratches and a lot of wear on this lighter. I've already noted the damage to the hinge, but the paint appears to me to be all there, even though there may be some wear to it. It's got to be at least 95%, if not 100%. And very cool, very nice to see that it still had the paint in such good condition. I couldn't tell that from the listing where I bought it. It was a very inexpensive lighter, and those are really the only kind that I add to my collection. At least inexpensive for me. I don't ever pay much for any of the lighters that I buy, at least according to what you would see them going for in normal eBay listings or auctions or other Facebook groups, marketplace, that sort of thing. But anyway, I'm not going to be listing this one. This one is, as I said, part of my collection. So I'm not as concerned with some of the blemishes that it may have, because I'm not going to have to turn around and explain that to a buyer and then expect them to understand that description once they get it. This one is going to sit right down in here in my collection where there's obviously room for it. I think I've made it pretty clear about the affinity that I have for Penguin Cygnus lighters. And when I got the renewal form last week, or maybe I should say when I was filling out the renewal form last week for the OTLS club, it asked what your areas of interest were in case someone contacted the club with those particular interests in mind. So I had to think about that for a minute, because obviously Penguin Cygnus are an area of interest of mine. But other than that, it seems kind of broad to just say petrol lighters. But Park Industries are a lighter that has had interest for me since way back. I wrote an article for my website, dependableflame.com, way back at the beginning for a slim Scotch whiskey Park lighter that was brand new, and I didn't know anything about it. You can tell when you read the article, I did not know anything about Park lighters at that point. I know a whole lot more about them now, and I really like these that have paint on them in various motifs, whether it be advertising or this sports lighter. But Park lighters are another one that are part of my collection, and that part of my collection will definitely continue to grow. As I said earlier, this has scuffs, it has some blemishes, and right at the moment it doesn't want to light very well. But it has a permanent place down here in my collection, and you will probably see it often. Until next time.